Okay, in the UK, I find that there are kind of three ways that people build wealth outside of their own business or their own work. At a very high level, the sum is we want to increase your assets and reduce your liabilities. And the best ways of doing that are normally either pensions, ISAs or property. And in this video, I'm going to go through and talk about the strengths and the weaknesses of all of them. Okay, so let's just start with pensions first of all. So with pensions are normally the most tax efficient thing that you can do in the UK, okay? Whether it's through your employer, through your own business, or making kind of individual contributions out of your own bank account, you won't be paying any income tax on those contributions when they go in, okay? So if you're a basic rate taxpayer, you put £100 in, that automatically is going to get turned into about £125. For higher rate and additional rate taxpayers, the benefit's even bigger, okay? Now once the money's in the pension, that's then going to grow free of tax over the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years. Okay. When you choose to withdraw the money from the pension, you get 25% of it completely tax-free, and the rest of it will normally get taxed at your normal rate of tax, which for most people in retirement will be the basic rate. Okay, so really tax efficient and really easy to put money into a pension. You can do regular monthly contributions, you can do lump sum contributions, lots of flexibility with it. Now the big downside of the pension is the fact that the pension you can't withdraw till at least 55. It's going up to 57 over the next few years. It's probably safe to assume if you're under 40 that you're not going to be able to access the money in the pension till at least 60. Okay, so that's the big downside. And once the money's in the pension, you can't get the money out of the pension pot. Okay, but yeah, really good for when you are in your 60s, 70s and 80s to be able to spend the money. Okay. Now the other thing with pensions we should mention is actually when it comes to retirement, pensions are really flexible in terms of how you access the money these days. Okay, so at 1 year you might want to take out £20,000 from the pension. The next year you might want to take out 30,000. The year after you might want to take out 10,000. And a lot of pensions, not all pensions, but a lot of pensions these days will allow you to have that flexibility. You just have to be the right age. Okay. Now, if you don't want to lock all of your money away until retirement, this is where ISAs then come in. Okay, so in the UK, there's a few different flavours of ISAs, but the two main flavours of ISA we're going to talk about today is either a cash ISA or a stocks and shares ISA. Okay, so with a cash ISA, that is great for a short-term need, maybe such as an emergency fund, saving for a car or a holiday, things like that. Okay, but the other option, if you've got what I like to call unknown medium-term objectives, is that's where the stocks and shares ISA comes in. Okay, so whether it's cash ISA or stocks and shares ISA, the money that you put into that account is going to come from your personal bank account. So you've already paid the tax on it. Okay, but the big advantage of the ISA is that once the money is in the ISA, it grows free of tax over the next however many years, and when you choose to withdraw it, you then don't have to worry about paying tax at that point as well. And unlike the pension, you can normally withdraw a stocks and shares ISA whenever you like. Cash ISAs, sometimes there'll be like a fixed term, like a 1 year deal or a 2 year deal in terms of the interest. Okay, again, like the pension, you can do regular monthly contributions, you can do lump sum contributions, you can invest ethically, you can invest into kind of what, you know, pretty much whatever you want within the ISA. Okay, so really flexible, and you can make contributions normally from just a small amount each month, maybe £25 a month, £50 a month, to help build up your situation. Okay, the third option is then property. Okay, so with property, there's probably kind of two ways of looking at property as an investment. We won't talk about residential property in this video too much for today, but with regards to property, one thing that you could do is if you've got a mortgage, you could choose to overpay your mortgage, and normally you will find that the rate you're paying on a mortgage should normally be higher than what you'd get in a savings rate. So it may make more sense to overpay the mortgage than put money into the savings side. Big disadvantage of that is that actually if you then suddenly need £5,000 or £10,000, you don't really want to go back to your mortgage lender and ask to borrow that additional money. Okay, so we want to have a certain amount already in cash, but then at some point, if you don't want to invest, then overpaying the mortgage may make sense to do. Okay. The other option would be potentially kind of buy-to-let and property investment. Okay. Now, over the last 25 years in the UK, the market has exploded in terms of kind of buy-to-let over the last 25 years. However, it is a lot harder to get into buy-to-let investment today than what it was maybe 15 or 20 years ago. So one of the reasons for that is typically now to get a buy-to-let mortgage, you need to put down a 25% deposit. So even for a £200,000 property, you might need to have £50,000 in your bank account to be able to do that. The second issue is from a tax perspective, it's not as attractive from a tax perspective as what it was maybe a decade ago. Okay, so one of the reasons is stamp duty. So if you buy that property for £200,000, you're going to pay £6,000 in stamp duty to have it as a buy-to-let, and that's money that you're never going to get again. Okay. The other issue then is actually the rental income that comes in, maybe pushing you kind of into higher rate tax bands or paying additional taxes. And actually, once you've done all of this, at the end of the day, you're then relying on maybe one person or a couple keeping their jobs, keeping the property in good condition, paying the rent. Whereas with the ISAs and the pensions, you're investing potentially into thousands of companies across the globe with millions of employees, all trying to kind of build up the growth for the future. Okay, so just in quick summary, pensions, properties and ISAs are three of the main ways that people kind of build wealth. They've all got their strengths and they've all got their weaknesses. So from a tax efficiency side, pensions will normally win the day, but access is a big kind of issue from that side. ISAs are great, but they don't have the tax benefits of the pension. And then with the property side of things, although it can kind of work very well, you're almost treating that as a business, and it's going to take a lot of your time up compared to the pensions and ISAs, which, you know, once they're set up, can run fairly easily in the background. Hope this video has been useful for you. Thank you.